All right, so after 2 epic healing episodes, or maybe this might be the first one, we'll see where it ends up. We really found something that we needed to finish to really bring this full circle, and that is, I think healing is really important, and we all go through all these lessons and learn so much through whether it's people, things that happen to us, but then we have the ability to heal it and step back into our personal power so that we're who we need to be in order to do what we came here to do. Does that resonate, or is that kind of the experience that you kind of get from everything that you've been through personally, that you've healed and emotionally journeyed through, and then where you're at now?
Yes, stepping into your power. And a lot of people kind of think that's egotistic. Mm-hmm. So I think it's important to identify, like, what does that mean when we're talking about solar plex, like we did earlier, stepping into your power and fully embodying that, and what that means individually. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy. Something I've actually been working on a lot is my solar plexus. And it's been more or less like having the confidence or stuff to work on this stuff. But then realistically, I just got done with a bunch of stuff in healing. And it was essentially like, you went through all of this crap so that you could help people get through this. Why don't you freaking do it? And then I'm over here like, because I'm doing video production and that's successful. And then the other day I pulled the tarot card, the garden and the gate of the Oracle deck. And it's like, you can live in this luxury lifestyle of where you're at now and what you're doing, or you can go to the other side of the gate and live your soul's purpose and have this. So, and to kind of bring that back full circle of all the stuff I went through in healthcare was crap, toxicity, hit a healing crisis, met you, started clearing chakras, went to level 2, learned more of how to use tools and how to heal people more, and then also like a deeper healing of ourselves. And then started working with somebody else too. My friend Jen brought in, and then it's crazy the energy of the resonation with that. And then he pulled almost like a second practitioner and learning new tips and tricks from him, and then putting it all together. And now we're just like, what the heck? And then putting yoga on top of it. But then now really like stepping into this power of doing this and seeing like where it takes us. Because the owners of Endlessly came into this.
Right. And I think it's important to address, try as much as you are feeling drawn to, and then sit with where it is for you. Like my course is very individual. They call me, some of my students, as you know, call me the can opener, because I open people's own spiritual gifts. So there's tend to be a lot of copying everybody else, and there's no authentic. And then you start hitting resistance because you're not doing truly what you're designed to do. Mm-hmm. So sitting with yourself and saying, what are you passionate about? Mm-hmm. What makes you feel alive? What makes you want to get up in the morning? What makes you want to sing and dance? When you step and you embody that inner power and what your soul and your solar plex, your heart, and when you're coming into divine alignment, then you really start moving out of the 9 and 5 and you're in source consciousness. Mm-hmm. And you are constantly manifesting and feeding from the divine. Yeah.
I think something important with that too is like my own personal experience in going through the process was I had no idea like these gifts even exist. I thought everybody had this of what I go through of being able to tap into people and knowing that now I know that I'm a super huge empath. I can feel people more than I can feel myself sometimes. And until I'm alone, I don't even know what really is mine. But I mean, all that was through going through the healing process, learning, and then having you teach it. And then at some point too, you almost hit the thing of like, you know your gifts, and we've had multiple conversations about this. You know your gifts, you have all these gifts, but until you like have the confidence to use them, they're useless.
Yes.
But you can do whatever you want to play with them, but until you're like putting them to full use, your soul's going to be like, but you're not doing it right, you know?
Yes.
So I think everybody, and this hits too, everybody has their own gift that they come to Earth with. I mean, it's part of our experience. We all have, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're an artist, we all are really good at one thing. And if you look at the other side of it, instead of the materialistic side of it, it's very spiritual. And a lot of people, I think, surpass that sometimes because we are in the 3D, we're in the monetary realm. But I think everybody, no matter what your gift is, you can relate it back to the spirituality of it and how you can help other people.
And when people are trying to ask, well, what is that? How do I find my personal power? What are my gifts? Well, I encourage you to, meditate, sit into your stomach, those gut instincts that you have constantly been feeling, those are nudges from your team, your spirit, to say, hey, maybe look at this a little deeper. And not everything is made to make money. It's also just for your own internal spiritual growth. So just because you land on something that you may have a gift on doesn't mean you have to immediately go make it for money. You are here on a spiritual journey, raising the conscious of the divine and the collective, but also not only that, for yourself. So do things that bring you joy, and don't always worry about what does this mean and where does it have to go. The emphasis on that is sometimes can be overwhelming, and you hit a state of resistance.
For sure. And then somebody else said something too, like where you're at now and where you're going. Like if you're focused on where you're at now, but you know where you're going, where you're at now, you could be learning just a piece of what you're going to. So never get like beat down of where you're at in the moment, because where you're at is where you're supposed to be, and it's contributing to a part.
Right.
And I'll say that and break it down fully is like the first thing I came in with my first download was AOFN 124. And it would have made so much sense right now, but all the lessons, I don't know what the bigger picture is, but it was essentially an all-in-one platform where you had meditation, you had yoga, and you had pretty much just mental, like mind, body, spirit resources all in one. You could access it from the internet anytime, any place, anywhere. When we tried to launch it, it was like, no, that's not going to work. COVID happened, and it's like, this is the most smart thing ever. And we were like, crap, we didn't follow through with it. But since then, my biggest cost was video production. Check. Now we run a video production company. My second hardest thing was going to be filming yoga people, because yoga classes hate cameras. And I was like, it'd be easy if I just had my teaching license. Well, in a couple of weeks, I'm going to have my yoga teaching instructor's license. And then through this, we also learned business. We've branded multiple companies. So now it's like everything that I failed at early came back around in 3 years in full circle. And then stepping back into that power and saying, all right, now we know it. Let's continue to build.
Yes. And remember, your future self is always trying to give you hints on the direction you're needing to go and needing to follow. You just have to listen.
Mm-hmm. And I just recorded a video on that last night. So that'll be the intuition versus emotional decision making. And I think that kind of hits us all too, is like when we get emotional in decision making, we just run and don't think. Mm-hmm. And then intuition, like you said, is just like your higher self, like, hey, you should maybe start filming a podcast. Okay, thanks. I'll check into it. And then a week later, like, hey, are you going to start filming that podcast?
Yes. And also know that even if you do land on something, that even if you touch one person's life, it's called the ripple effect. Mm-hmm. So even if one person benefits from your gifts, your presence, anything, that's the most important thing that matters, because that's what you can, take upstairs when you pass on.
Yeah, for sure. The money doesn't follow you, but the experiences do.
Yes.
Really just owning up to your strengths overall. I'd say is the whole message. Like, we all know our strengths. Once you believe in your strengths and can, really trust yourself
and don't compare yourself to anybody else.
Don't rob yourself of anything. Just be who you are, believe in who you are, and take that gift and share it with the world. And it's incredible what happens from it.
Yeah.
And then
watch it fly.
Yeah, and it'll expand so many different ways. So
awesome.
Yeah, I guess anything else you want to add to this?
I think that's the most important thing, is just don't compare yourself. We're in a world right now of comparison. And well, they did this and they're making this and they've got something better than I do. And just be you, because you are absolutely beautiful. You are created in the eye of our Creator, full of power, love, and so many divine gifts. And all you have to do is listen, believe in yourself, and know you're worthy.
Boom. Perfect. If you guys haven't already, be sure to check out Tawnya's website resources, Tawnya Marie across the board. Yeah. Make sure you guys follow her and subscribe to her YouTube channel, as I'm sure you're going to have a ton of stuff on there. Facebook
I have
group.
over 170 videos on my YouTube.
Boom. They're amazing. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
I imagine you'll be on more of these. So
hopefully, if you invite me back.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Thank you guys and have a good day.